Everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to go over some things that were said during the rededicatory prayer of the Mesa, Arizona temple, which was given by President Dallin H. Oaks. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you end up liking it, hit the notification bell. Make sure to leave your comments. Now, this picture behind me, this is another picture that I took. This was obviously the Mesa, Arizona temple back when we lived there. Not in Mesa, but in Goodyear, which is a suburb of Phoenix. And I'm happy how this picture turned out. Unfortunately, I am blocking the temple. I didn't know that I would be using it for YouTube videos, but I wanted to include it. And I've sold this a few times, by the way, this picture. So I'm going to read just a few portions of the rededicatory prayer that I thought were pretty interesting, and I think that you will too. So first, he says here, this is like partway down, "We thank thee for thy blessings to this nation, where many of thy temples have been established, and pray that thou wilt inspire and strengthen all who seek to preserve our constitutional form of government, including the freedom of religion that is so vital to the on-rolling of thy work. We pray that thou wilt bless all thy children in this nation, that they will serve thee and keep thy commandments, and thus qualify for thy promise that they will prosper in the land." So obviously there's some concern here about the nation and the direction that it's going, and he's praying that maybe there might still be a chance for us to continue to prosper here. But of course, I think we all know that that's probably not going to happen as the world just continues to get more and more wicked, but he's praying for it. Okay, next paragraph down. This is interesting. "We pray for the youth of Zion." Okay, now think back to all the videos that I've done pointing out the Lord's Youth Battalion, and there's been a lot of talk about the rising generation for the last couple decades. And that's what he says here. "We pray for the youth of Zion, the rising generation, that they may take the truths of thy gospel into their hearts," right? Heart, Zion, "and manifest them in wise choices. We pray for thy missionaries, young and old. We pray that thou will give all thy servants the wisdom and power to prevail over every obstacle and go forward to fulfill thy purposes for all in their care. We pray that thou will open the way for thy work to be established in every nation and among every people, to further the gathering of Israel and fulfill thy prophecies and promises for thy children." Now, I've done a video about that. Now, you guys, all my videos that I do, I'm doing this thing where I'm like scheduling them out. So I don't know, I can't remember if this has already come out yet or not, but if it hasn't, I have a video talking about basically countries that still need to be, that haven't, not that they need to be, but haven't had missionaries in them yet. And I'm not so sure that all of them will, because they're like smaller countries and in stuff like the Vatican, for example. But anyway, according to this prayer, he would have us believe, I think, that this prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet about the gospel being preached to every country. So who knows what that'll look like? Who knows what has to happen for that to be fulfilled, if that literally means every country. I think maybe like the big one that everyone's waiting for is China, and not just in like Hong Kong or places like that, but for the whole country. So I guess we'll just wait and see what happens with that. But I think that's interesting that he put that in the prayer. And then he said a prayer for, well, I'll just read it. "We also pray for the millions of thy children who have been displaced from their homes to become refugees in other nations and places." Now, that's interesting because he says that immediately after talking about praying that we'd be able to preach the gospel to every nation and every people. Well, all these refugees, that probably helps with that. I've talked about that on the channel too, how specifically like with Afghanistan, we have all these people from Afghanistan, a people that, the Pashtuns that believe that they are descended from Israel, that have been there for thousands of years. They probably had been conquered by Islam, and now they're Muslim, but now they're leaving Afghanistan after thousands of years, and most likely a lot of them will come in contact with missionaries and Christianity as a whole. And not just them, but just all the other countries like Syria and other places where people are leaving those countries. So I think it's significant that first he prayed that the gospel will go to every nation and every people, and then right immediately after that he starts talking about refugees. He says, "Please bless them and all who seek to relieve their suffering and give them hope." Which of course he's talking about temporally, because that's like, the plight of a refugee, but maybe there's some double meaning there as well. Their spiritual suffering, and give them hope through the gospel. We also pray for thy children in every nation who seek to live in peace. So all those that are okay, basically, yeah. Protect them from violence in their own nations and from foreign aggressors. Okay, now check this next part out. In this day of selfishness and wickedness, when men's hearts fail them. Now, I don't think that my videos about this have come out yet at the time, or maybe it will. Who knows? But I've done videos about this very phrase, men's hearts failing them. And it looks like that has already been fulfilled, the fact that men's hearts are failing them. He mentions it here in the rededicatory prayer of the Mesa, Arizona temple. So, yeah, okay. We beseech thee to blunt the powers of evil against thy work and thy children, and to bless thy covenant people with protection and strength to persist in their duties. So in other words, evil is trying to thwart the work of the Lord, and he's asking for blessings on the covenant people, that they'll be protected and strengthened so that we can continue until the millennium. And then he says, we give thanks for thy prophet, President Russell M. Nelson, from whom we have heard in this meeting. Please prolong his life, because he's 97 years old right now. And like I've said before, if he makes it to his next birthday, he'll become the oldest apostle or prophet of this dispensation. So please prolong his life and renew his strength, and continue to reveal to him thy will for the progress of thy work through thy church and among thy children. Okay, and that's all that I wanted to highlight from that prayer. I think there's significant things there. Obviously he whenever they do a prayer like this, it's like a talk, so they plan it out in advance. It's not just like in the moment. But even if it was, whatever the case, he said what he said, and there's some very interesting things there. A lot of stuff that has to do with the millennium and the second coming, in my opinion. So anyway, I'll put the link for this below if you want to read the entire prayer. I think that'd probably be a good idea to do. There's a lot of other good stuff in there. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, hit the notification bell. Please leave your comments with your thoughts and anything that struck you, and I'll talk to you guys later.